The Charlotte Soccer Show is back for some more World Cup banter, baby. It is day 10 in the Cup. The U.S. has officially moved on, advanced from the group stage. I believe that we will win. Go, go, USA. It's as real as it gets, people. This is the real deal. Couple days off we've had from making these video recaps because, hey, it gets to be a strain. Real world happens and et cetera, et cetera. So we're back, but we had to come back for the U.S.'s big win. And it's your boy, Danny Brams, here with Matt Geslin. We're a bi-coastal pod as usual. And I welcome you in, Matt, and say, what did you think of the U.S. win?
Danny Brams, I think my heart is still racing a little bit from this afternoon,
right.
But we got the W. That's all.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Wasn't easy. Definitely stressful. Excited about that. Like you said, we took a couple of days off. Definitely needed. I know we were both talking to each other and both were getting pretty drained. So thanks for bearing with us. Obviously, we're back and ready to go. And what a way to start it off.
Anybody who's in the pool or not in the pool who's taking the time to watch the video and say something cool, we love it because we're not out here to be YouTube superstars or anything like that. We just like talking footy, and this is a way to do it.
Look at this face. Yeah, this face is not going to be a YouTube star. Okay, we love talking footy, and what a way to come back. Obviously, Team USA. I know we'll dive into it a little bit more as we get further in here, but we did it, Danny Brams. What can I say? I wanted to have Star Spangled Banner playing to start this show. I don't think YouTube would be happy with
Sing
us.
Feel free to just hum along. Why don't you hum along?
We can hum along.
You hum the Star Spangled Banner. We got a lot to talk about with this game. Yeah. I want to quickly check in with the pool.
Yeah,
because I think that's important. That is one of the primary reasons you would be watching this cast as opposed to any other. I would think, because the fantasy pool is the business of the hour, and let's check it out.
And there's been a lot of action, Danny Brams, a lot of movement, and yet not a lot of movement at the same time while we were gone. So
Christian Pulisic got his goal, even with the injury, 18 points. That's pretty nice. Weston McKennie, I really thought Weston was due today. I thought Weston was going to have a great performance, and he did not turn in the really great fantasy performance. I just felt like he was going to score or assist or something like that. He'd been so lively against England. Didn't work out. Our boy, B.A., the Medford Messi, my favorite player. I'm unashamed a Brendan Aronson fan. Think he's the best player on the men's national team. It's shocking to me that he can't seem to start for this team when he's starting in the Premier League, but he came in for injured Pulisic. Finally, had his best fantasy performance of the day, even in 45 minutes. Who do you own on the U.S., Matt?
I have Yunus Musa, as do you, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about this. Yeah, Musa finally got a few points as well.
He did get.
We should have taken Dest. Dest is looking pretty nice. He's matched Pulisic from the defensive spot.
He
did today, I should say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about it with Musa, flashed, showed, along with that midfield of Tyler Adams, who had a weak performance here score-wise. But again, how dominant was that midfield and how important were those three? So the score here doesn't reflect how they performed on the field, for me at least.
Tyler Adams is putting together a performance that will get him on the all-tournament 11, potentially. If the U.S. can win a first game in the round of 16, I think he's a candidate for that. And I think it's going to get him to a big six club or something like that. Like I for me, he's the Xhaka replacement at Arsenal. Let's ship Granit Xhaka out. Let's bring in Tyler Adams. As an Arsenal fan, I'd love to see that for sure. He's absolutely doing it. For fantasy purposes, he doesn't really do it. Can we take away points from Matt Turner for his blunder at the end that almost cost us the damn World Cup?
Almost. I think I was a little bit more nervous there than at any point in the game. I will personally deduct 1 point, but obviously we won't deduct it.
I should just I could put that up to a vote. I'm sure the 3 Matt Turner owners would not be too happy about it, but I don't know. Those people deserve to lose a few points as far as I'm concerned. No change at the very top of the standings. Tremendous friend of the show, Michael Volak. He's a legend in the city of Charlotte. Everybody knows this guy around here. You can't walk around Bank of America Stadium with him without being pulled left and right. With all it's like a celebrity. Kevin Knapp stays in second. Good friend. He's on one of our international contingent. He's playing from Germany. Hates the German national team. So Kevin, at least your pool performance in the pool is going pretty well. You can see a couple. Mike McEnany moved up with some nice scores. AJ Giordano holding. Steve Wynn, after he was one of our biggest fallers the other day. He's a decent climber today, so we like to see that. I should note that I'm talking about day 10 here. I don't want to skip over day 9 too badly.
Sure.
Let me just briefly touch on day 9 because I noticed McEnany's name there. And Mike McEnany had a huge day 9. He is our day 9 winner. And then, but we're already on to day 10.
Yep.
And he climbed again on day 10 with a decent day to get himself into the top 5. I want to go because we've stalled long enough here as I scroll past more names, because the winner today is our guy, Mike Slipsky.
Yep.
91 points. I believe the only one over the 85-ish mark. Vaulted himself. He was way down the bottom, near the bottom. So he's up 7 places, sniffing on the top 20. 667 versus. So he's within 100 points of first. I always say if you're within 100 in the group stage, anything can happen. So we'll see. And Steve Wynn had 84 points to get himself right. A couple 82s and 80, but nice performance from Mike. And we're going to make history on the show. Matt, what do you say? Do you like to make history? Do you like to do
I love making history. I love making history, Danny Brams. I leave this to you. I have no idea what's coming here, folks. So this is
I've done us the service, you, the viewers, the world, really, of getting today's daily winner.
Wow.
One of my best friends in history, just like one of the coolest people on earth, Mike Slipsky, our winner, World Cup Banter winner, day 10 is here live.
There he is.
In person. Rocking it from Raleigh, North Carolina. Mike, how you doing, man? Welcome.
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. It's
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Congrats on the big W today. How does it feel for the one-day performance, at least at the moment?
Well, it's I feel like a double winner today, having watched the U.S. pull that one out, as well as my own personal performance. You know, my goal in this fantasy pool is always to just get back to 0. Mm-hmm. So I've almost recouped my entry fee. So I feel like the U.S. I feel like I've gotten out of the group.
Which is more important.
That's a question I have. That's a question I have real quick. And you tell me, Geslin, what you think also. Because in previous years, when I've done this, the daily pool is been smaller. So in the previous years, the daily pool was only like $15 for a win, and it was like 80% of the prize pool went to the leaderboard side, and like 20% went to the daily. So this year I just split it 50-50, just because I wanted the daily pools to be bigger, and I wanted like winning one day to be sort of worth getting your money back. And it's worked out pretty well since we've had different individual winners every single day. Mike McEnany, I still owe you yesterday's prize. I apologize. But it's pretty nice that like you can almost win your money back just by winning a day. It does make the top prize a little bit smaller than it could have been. Only $500. You think, hey, you know, be nice to win like, you know, $750 or something like that in a $2,000 prize pool. But I like having the bigger daily prize. It's worked out for me as the creator and runner of the pool. What do you guys think as players?
I think it's great. I mean, Mike, obviously I know you've played in this longer, so your opinion may differ from previous year's experience, but as a newcomer to the game, I think it's great that you have the opportunity to win back your $50, or at least as close as possible. Yeah. And then if you do place, you know, that's just a cherry on top. But sometimes it's just easier just to kind of win one of these days and say you had a good tournament. But again, this is just my first go at it, so I don't know any different. I think it's both great all around.
Yeah, as somebody who has probably no chance of winning the big prize, I'm happy. I'm happy with this, but yeah,
dude, you're nice. Close, man. You're within 100 of first place. Anything can happen at that point. Depends who you have. Let's look at your team real quick, because I don't like this negative self-talk.
I'm telling you, there should be a special prize for if you have multiple players who've missed a penalty. I think I've got 2 on my team who've missed penalties in this tournament. So
you're in the Navas club, who he actually, Costa Rica is eliminated, but Navas did get his way back to positive points, which I didn't think was going to happen after the negative.
I think 12. That was possible after that first game either. No,
you're kind of unique with your Allison pick, obviously, Mike. Like most people would have taken an attacker from Brazil, but hey, Neymar got hurt, so all of a sudden you're looking a little smarter after that injury, right?
I just figured Brazil would spread the goals around, but I also figured they're defensively solid, especially for a Brazil team. And I just thought, you know, I'll just keep taking the shutouts.
Koulibaly with the goal. That Koulibaly's goal had to be what kind of made you feel like you could get a daily prize.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was like I've got some strategic adjustments for next year's tournament, I think. But point being, I'm not sure I chose my defenders wisely, but he came through. So
right.
Well, like I'm in the same boat on the defender. Sorry, Danny. I definitely. You have to pick certain players. Koulibaly is a nice bonus to get a goal for you today, but not the norm from his center back position. To your point, I think unless we're falling on, you know, secret key learnings here, for me, the big one is wing backs that have crosses into the box from those defensive players, even though they're considered defensive. Obviously, in this format, you're not looking for the most defensive defenseman, with points being the ultimate goal. So definitely key learning for me. It sounds like you're probably in a similar boat.
Crosses and shots and chances created are like the cheat codes in this scoring system.
Mm-hmm.
The saddest part is that I know this very well, and I'm not like dominating this competition. Like I play DraftKings soccer like for years and years, and I should be in first, but I still make bad picks. So don't beat yourself up too bad. Guerrero's a good pick. Caicedo scored a goal. That's obviously going to put you as a contender. So you got 2 goals Caicedo, I think, is the most owned Ecuadorian, but very few people own Koulibaly. Saeed Teoli got a few points today. Ramsey was bad. He got almost no points. So that's a bad one. But then you get Pulisic, right? I'm guessing you have Puli. You're in the messy captain club with me, so.
Yeah, I might come to regret that, but you never know. Sometimes Argentina gets out of second gear when they get into the elimination rounds. You know, my other thing about the defenders was I didn't really think about the groups they were in, you know, so I'd probably start thinking next time which groups have weak strikers we're likely to have more shutouts, and I probably should have gone that way as well, but whatever.
Little nuggets, Danny Brams storing those away. I don't know.
Well, that's you know, we'll weave some more stuff in and about the pool as we go along. Obviously, it's a lot of fun, but let's talk about the real headline story of the day, which was Team USA, U.S. men's national team, the Stars and Stripes, the Boys in Blue, Sam's Army, etc. You know, whatever you want to call us. We won, and we're through to the group. It made me think, man, like when the groups were first announced, I wish I had checked out what the odds were for a U.S. advancement, because they were probably got bet. They were probably paid out a lot less, you know, like today than they would have, you know, a few months ago. So I wish I would have bet that, because in retrospect, it looks like we didn't even really play our best and we got through the group.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit of a blunt instrument, but it was enough. Frankly, I feel like this is the greatest victory for the forces of good over tyranny since Coach K lost in the Final Four.
I knew that was coming. We knew that was coming. You can get those Coach K jokes off here for sure. That this is a very safe space for that, so no worries.
And Mike, what was your, obviously, I think Danny Brams and I briefly touched on it, and we'll certainly get to it here a little bit later. Gut reaction, how were you feeling during the game, throughout the game? Were you sweating as much as we were? We know you couldn't watch it, you know, start to finish, but of what you got to see, were you sweating like we were?
Oh, well, yeah, I watched probably the last 20 minutes consecutively. So yeah, I was sweating it for sure. And who was it? I guess was it Wright who got the ball and decided to take the shot with?
Yep.
And I'm like, go to the corner and go to the corner.
Dribble to the corner, yeah, and that almost cost us.
Yeah, it's like it's like the guys who run back a pick six with like 40 seconds left in a football game, and all they needed to do was take the knee. So
yeah,
absolutely.
If there was a chance, like if anyone's selection on this team was questioned most of all, it was probably Haji Wright. And I'm not sure. And I defended the selection at the time.
Yes, you did. Yes,
and I don't know that he really earned the trust of a nation with that play for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it gets Giovanni out of prison for the next.
Great segue. Actually, I was going to ask you about that. What are your thoughts on kind of his lack of involvement? Obviously, played a little bit of time against England, very minimal in the last game. But you know, what's your take on this situation? I think. Obviously, we've stated our opinion on Gio in the past, but you know, what's your take as an American fan and how the rest of the American fans are kind of feeling?
I don't get it. I mean, I don't follow the Bundesliga that closely, so I don't know his injury record or anything like that. At least not firsthand. But to my mind, he's the second most talented player on the team after Pulisic, maybe the first. So, but yeah, so I just don't get it. I mean, to me, Berhalter and Southgate are sort of the same kind of coaches. And, well, if it kind of works, I'll just stick with it forever.
Yeah.
Like, this is the World Cup. we're playing some very, very talented teams. We should probably play our most talented players. And frankly, I hope he switches to that because, from here on out, we can't give it sort of the B- effort. We got to just, I think we have to just open it up and try to score.
Let's try to get some objective opinions because I cannot be objective. So I need to hear from you guys. What about my beautiful baby boy BA? I mean, the Medford Messi, he went out there and locked the game down for the most part until those final frantic minutes when we went into park the bus mode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what Mike was saying about playing your best players, right? And I think part of the frustration, at least for me, has been about Gio not playing. And I know we've talked about it. And then again, you make, just some of the decisions, and I don't want to go too much into it because he's proving me wrong every single time I talk trash about him. But, some of the decisions that Greg Berhalter has made, just along the way, even in this tournament, again, not much I can say.
I don't want to hear about Berhalter. I want to hear about Aronson. What did you think of his performance against Iran?
Please Danny Brams. Come on.
Come on.
And
give me the good
course,
stuff.
You have to play your best players, right? At some of those positions that you're looking at. Timothy Weah is not worth it up front. To be honest, I know he got the goal. I know he should have had maybe potentially a goal today. But if you're talking about Brendan Aronson or Timothy Weah, I think you're going to get a little bit more out of Brendan Aronson. Long term, at least in the next rounds, you're going to need that. He gives you a little something different than Timothy Weah, who's more of a over the top, in behind the defenders type of guy, using that speed like we talk about with Gaines for CLTFC. And then again, Gio, where is Gio Reyna? What are you doing, Greg Berhalter? It just blows my mind. He's, Mike, as you correctly pointed out, the most talented player on this team. Plain and simple. If you watch him every week in, week out, in the Bundesliga when he plays, to your point, yes, he flashes, he shows, he has the skill. 17, 18 years old now. It's time to get him on the field and give him quality minutes to show what he can do. If he's not healthy, don't play him. And I think it's a very different conversation if he's not healthy. And Greg, all Greg has to do is come out and say, he's not healthy. He hasn't been healthy. I know that there's tactics. You don't want to give away the other, whatever to the other team and all this nonsense. If he's not healthy, just say he's not healthy. Otherwise, he should be playing, plain and simple. And he's going to deliver for you a lot more than Josh Sargent was this afternoon. No offense to Josh Sargent, but I'm with you, Mike. You got to get the best players on the field. And if you're not going to play them, what are we doing? And how are we still here to some extent?
What are we doing here?
And to me, Aronson is he's just a cagier kind of player than Weah. To me, Weah is a fast guy, and that's great. But he's kind of I don't know, a hot rod that's great going 0 to 60. But to me, Aronson's more like a Porsche 911.
Mm-hmm.
Go around the curves. And for example, Weah got that ball that got booted straight up in the air, and he took the header. He had about 6 yards of room.
Yep.
To settle the ball and kick it into the goal. And to me, that's just something Aronson probably would have done. Yeah. And has the skill to do. So
yeah.
Again,
plays like that for sure.
And I will just play devil's advocate, right? I think the ultimate conversation here is one of positive side, right? We have the depth now on our roster that a Brendan Aronson can't start as an automatic, right? Gio Reyna isn't, for whatever reason, a surefire automatic pencil in your starting 11. Whereas in the past, we didn't have a good bench that we had
right? I mean, we haven't used
exactly.
Ferreira. This guy, he's part of the reason we're here. So
yeah.
And I'm not a huge Kellen Acosta fan, but he was in the mix as a starter before, but now depth has pushed him back to a subs role.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have young guys coming up everywhere throughout the system, right? Joe Scally playing really well in Germany as well. Shaq Moore, decent, but came in and did a service. Walker Zimmerman.
Walker's young enough. He's actually kind of entering his prime.
Yeah,
Luca De La Torre is here getting some experience, right?
It's a good place to be for U.S. soccer. It's still, to your point though, Mike, I just doesn't understand. I don't. We saw this, and you mentioned Gareth Southgate. A great example of the two managers and their similarities. He made the change today, played Phil Foden after what probably must have been an absolute uproar over in the UK about just why he hasn't been playing him, right? So there's hope. There is hope that Greg will kind of get out of that way. But of course, Phil Foden came on and scored a goal today. Just want to point that out. But we got to get
everybody
our best
but Kane scored.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's interesting to me, you know, I'm getting to be an old guy, so I like to think about the old days, but it's kind of interesting to me when U.S. soccer really started to make an effort at being good, which I would say was around the '94 World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We sort of went from, okay, we always have good goalies, to, okay,
that was our calling card.
We always have good defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got a really good midfield. So I think, you know, the next evolutionary step is to have depth in attack. You know, we've got Pulisic, we've got Reina doing a great job warming the bench, but one or two more guys of that caliber, and we'd be, I don't think we're going to win the thing, but we would be a real contender. We'd be sort of a, you know, why didn't they make the quarterfinals at that level?
Yeah. I'd love to be a why we better make the quarterfinals or bust type of World Cup nation for sure. I want to sit in Greg's head, Berhalter's head. I want to get in there and just like put on loop the Liam Neeson gif from the Olympian movie that he made where he said, "Release the Kraken." Like, just release the Kraken, man. Put Gio out there. Like, let the kid cook. We're looking to play the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands is going to be a round of 16 matchup.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to – we might hold them scoreless. I mean, Ecuador did, right? But, like, the move is not to try to hold it 0-0 and then go smash and grab 30 minutes later. I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to go out there and play toe-to-toe with them and go at them.
Well, we seem to be dying in the last 30 minutes of every game. So I would
that is true. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Against that, and especially against going to overtime. So I would say, let's go out and punch them in the mouth while we're still fresh.
I think the U.S. I think the Netherlands are kind of a team like that as well. They haven't really shown a whole lot of longevity in matches, and maybe that's just because they've been conserving, but they like to sub a lot of their key guys too. Look at the momentum meter. Like you've heard, if you watch our videos long enough, you know I always talk about the momentum meter. Look at it's just all US press for like 60 minutes, and then there it is, Mike. They hit the wall, they ran out of gas, they said, okay, let's get out of here with this W, and it was just all Iran pressure for the final, like to see out the match. And our guys look cooked, our guys look gassed. I will agree with you there. That would be an argument against what I just said in terms of maybe we should try to conserve a little bit more. Where do you land on that guess?
Man, that's tough. I watched all the Netherlands games. They don't scare me. I think Cody Gakpo is becoming a superstar in the making.
Fantasy pool legend Cody Gakpo. He was shockingly not very highly picked in the fantasy.
Yeah, but just an absolute baller up front, a guy that we would absolutely love to have.
He's about to become a lot more well known because he's almost certainly going to Man United after this tournament.
That's what I've heard. So, but I mean, I think against the Netherlands, it's going to be pretty cagey. I think you're going to see a good first half of really back and forth, defensive. Again, similar game to what we saw against England, where the midfield is going to dominate. Obviously, with this being a knockout round, you have to win the game at some point. So it will open up in the second half. I think you'll see, Frankie de Jong play a little bit higher up the field. If it's still 0-0 in the second half, especially late, Memphis Depay looked pretty good in the last couple of games.
He's played his way into fitness for sure.
So that's going to be a little bit of a concern, especially with Cameron Carter-Vickers and Tim Ream in the back. Unless maybe, who knows, we'll play Aaron Long or something and change up the center backs again. So it just depends. I do think this was the better of the two teams that we could have gotten out of this group, to be honest. If you look at it, I think Senegal is a lot more offensive minded. They're not afraid to go forward as opposed to the Netherlands. I think that would have been a much tougher matchup for us than the Netherlands. I also think that height up front for the Netherlands would have been really difficult for us to match up against as well. So I like this matchup against the Netherlands. No easy game by any stretch of the imagination, right? Group winners. But if I'm gonna if I have a contest against one of these three teams, Ecuador, Netherlands, Senegal, I like our matchup against the Netherlands.
I love the fact that Louis van Gaal is involved.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's at the end, the twilight of his career. I'm trying to think the right term. He's past twilight. He's past dusk. It's
well, when Man United's done with you.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a few years ago.
Although we've seen though that could mean nothing in the end, but you could always come back from Man United.
I think tactically, yeah. Greg in his prime going against the most diminished version of Van Gaal of all of his great illustrious career that is no longer earning accolades. I think I might have to still give it to Van Gaal, actually, to be honest. But
but this is not a vintage Dutch team,
right?
I don't know. It's probably they haven't been a vintage Dutch team for a long time.
Yeah. What do you think of? I don't know how much of Netherlands you got to watch, Mike, but have you seen Gakpo play? Do you think this is a Premier League type player, or is it just all hype?
Oh yeah, I think he's the real deal. In fact, Gakpo is the sound I made when he scored that first goal, and I almost picked him. Because he was, I think, the Guardians. I was reading the Guardians previews, and I think he was their dark horse player.
Player of the tournament, yeah.
So I was like, but
instead you went with.
I think he's the real deal.
Memphis Depay, who's if he wasn't injured to start the tournament, his scores would probably be a lot better,
a lot higher. Yeah, can't go wrong with either of those two guys. I mean,
I think it's just a little. It's weird, like the adjustment from the Dutch league to the Premier League. I'm just not sure I see it. But at least at the level of dominance, because he's been dominating the Dutch league. I mean, he's scoring or assisting like twice a game, like almost every single week.
It's impossible to tell, right? Luis Suarez tore up the Dutch league and tore up the Premier League. And then you've got these guys. I can't even remember. There was a guy that Tottenham signed maybe 5 years ago who was like a 30 goal a season scorer.
Bergwijn?
No, it was even maybe before him, but
Paslin, yeah. But Bergwijn was a washout.
Yeah,
and Bergwijn's now back in the Dutch league, doing his thing again. It's like,
but can't play for this team. So
the Dutch league is just different. You do make the good point about Suarez. Arsenal's had guys come from there that obviously have been good. One notable one of the guys who turned me into an Arsenal fan. Go watch the videos if you haven't seen Dennis Bergkamp play. But what were you saying, dude?
So I was gonna say, it sounds like you guys are both in the similar boat with me as far as just potentially getting through this game. I mean,
we should go out to try to win for sure. I just don't want to see us come out and play like Mike said, like old school, like we're just going to rely on our goalie and defense and our work rate to try to grind out a 0-0 through 70 minutes and then maybe get a smash grab somehow. I just that to me would indicate regression on the part of U.S. soccer, whereas I would rather lose with progression than, because I don't think we can win, with that old style. Like the chances of us winning with the old style and the new style are just about the same, is what I would say. So let's play the new style and let's take our national football a little bit further.
Yeah, I mean, in the minutes leading up to the Pulisic goal, I thought we were really moving the ball well side to side and just a lot of one touch, 1.5 touch. I mean, that really is what you have to do to break down a quality defense at the World Cups. And, they're going up against Virgil. I will confess, I don't think he's the same Virgil he has been, but still.
Yeah, as a Liverpool fan, that. He's the untold story of Liverpool's season is that Virgil is not the same.
But they've got quality at practically every position in the Dutch team. So I don't think we're going to be able to withstand it if we want to try to just defend the whole game. And then we're going to run out of gas, as we always do. So I would say, we've got gas in the tank. Let's make a good effort. And if we go down in flames, I'd rather go down that way.
What are you guys' score predictions then? Gessling, you go first.
On the spot, huh?
Yeah. That's what we do. It's banter. It's Premier League banter. It's World.
If Christian Pulisic plays, which is a huge doubt right at the moment from what I saw today.
Wait a second. This will give you more time to think about your pick, because you mentioned huge doubt on Pulisic.
He can tell
Now
Weston
you did
McKennie
say,
whatever
did
he
you guys
wants.
say, I hope you guys saw the pic that he posted.
He can take a picture and say whatever he wants, and he can text Weston whatever he wants. The doctors will
Boom.
tell him if he can play or not. Danny
Boom.
Brams. If he can
said
play,
he's ready to go. Look at
if
that.
he can play,
So proud of my guys. I'll be ready Saturday. Don't worry. He gave you the 3 little words, baby. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be all right.
But then he's got 4 prayer hands.
Yeah.
The 4 prayer hands is a little much. I agree with that. But is that thankful prayer or is that hopeful prayer?
Yeah,
That's
but then
always
why
the
not
tough,
match it? Why not match it with the 4 hearts? It's only 3
interpretation.
hearts. So you've gotten off your numbers, Christian. I'm confused. So back to the question at hand. Netherlands will advance. I think it goes to PKs. 1-1 in regular time. Don't let Danny Brams, don't let your co-host tell you that, or don't let your co-host hear you say that hard work is not everything, as we know how he feels about that. But yes, Netherlands advance, 1-1 PKs.
Tell me something better, Mike, please.
Realistically, I think it's probably like 3-1 Netherlands. Hopefully.
You're fired.
I mean, I don't want it to happen, but if it has to happen, it'd be nice for it to buy hat trick.
For the pool.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I'll take 3 assists from Frankie to buy, and we can call it a day, Mike, if you'd like. So that'll work.
I'm just, look, I'm just being realistic. I would love to see something else, but
you guys make me sick. First off, both of y'all. Secondly, it's the holiday season, man. It's magic. You got, like, if we're not playing a Winter World Cup for any other reason than tapping into a little holiday magic, then I don't know what's wrong with y'all. So I'm going to say U.S. goes down 1-0, goes into the halftime locker room, down on their luck, pissed off as hell. Greg, the players kick Greg out of the locker room. Gio Reyna steps up and gives a fiery speech, fires up the crowd, fires up the lads, gets the team all hyped. We come out, we pull the Saudi Arabia, Argentina template. We score 2 quick ones in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and we win 2-1 and we advance. Easy breezy.
And then play Argentina.
Smart. There you go. Smart man. See, this guy knows exactly where I'm going with that. But so I got to say, Mike, thank you so much. It's always great to talk soccer with you. We've been doing it pretty much our entire lives. I thank you for being, you mentioned old school a couple times, and you're the old school person who got me into being a soccer fan, growing up an ignorant American who, like, you know, my parents taught me that soccer was communism and whatnot. Like, it wasn't until high school, really, when the 94 World Cup came along and, like, you told me, though, you got to get into this. It's a great event. I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance. Finally, that really taught me what this game was all about. We started following Premier League. We started playing Football Manager and, like, building teams. That's how I got familiar with, you know, Doncaster Rovers and learned about, you know, the club system, you know, the what do they call it in England? What's the name of the system?
The pyramid.
The football associations. It's not a pyramid, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, just the national table, if you will. It's just, you know, like how it all works with different leagues and upper division stuff. Fell in love with the game finally. Started playing FIFA all the time in video games.
I got to interrupt you, though. I believe you were into Tranmere Rovers.
Oh, Tranmere Rovers. Yeah, sorry, not Doncaster.
Wow.
That's my bad.
First of all, two deep pulls, by the way, just so anyone who knows that's watching this channel that are looking at.
Well, if you play Football Manager, that's what you don't start at the top. You got to take over a lower league team so you can take them up. You know,
everyone knows Wrexham now, so you know this whole thing is, you know, it's similar boat if you just put it that way.
Another side note, I was called out by a member of the pool and another great friend of many years, Dan Hirschberg. I was talking to him today about some World Cup stuff. He said, well, so anyway, like, as you know, I'm assuming you've seen Welcome to Wrexham. And I was like, I had to, like, hang my head in shame. No, I actually haven't started watching it yet. And so my sister's been chastising me. Everyone is just calling me out. If I don't watch Welcome to Wrexham in the next few days here, I think I might have to turn in my soccer badge.
You'll be fired. So,
have you watched, Mike?
No, but what I was watching, I think it was Tubi, the streaming channel Tubi that plays the replays.
Yeah,
I think they said they had an option like you might also like this, and it had the FIFA World Cup films from old World Cups.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was watching the 1970 Mexico World Cup, and I will tell you, watch those and just watch the technical level of the
Oh my
players.
God.
It's
So
crazy. It's
good.
like watching high school.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Just-
just because they're so bad.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
game at that point.
It's
Different
just
game
like,
back
yeah,
then. Just
so
kind of
slow
booted
and-
and
yeah.
so much slower. Field is talk about cow pastures to play in for CONCACAF qualifying. Those were real cow pastures that they were playing in at those points. So
See, that's what makes me think, they could get rid of the offside rule. That we can't delve it too deep into this tangent, but I just think the game is played so much different now, and the offside rule was created at an era when the game was much slower and you had to worry about like guys just like standing there trying to cherry pick off the defense and not running back. And nowadays the game is so fast and physical that I almost feel it's an extreme position, but I feel like you could almost just get rid of offside and you wouldn't really have too much problem with cherry picking. I'm not sure. I'm just, we lost a goal. Waya lost a goal on offside today that I lost, some money on that, unfortunately. So like sticks out of my head, but like on DraftKings, but like, it just that we've got to do something about offside. It just sucks. It was invented in an earlier era. It doesn't apply.
First of all, the take to get rid of offside in general, that is very strong. I will.
Let's try it out in a lower league and see what happens.
I will say with you, there definitely should be a change in the rule potentially, and we can definitely go down this path for a very long time. But to say no offside, I mean that's a bit much.
Mike, back me up.
I think that probably wouldn't work as intended. But what I would like to see is a daylight rule. So instead of this, oh my God, was somebody's shoulder 3 inches in front of somebody else's? I think it should be if you're overlapping with the defender at all. So if there's no daylight, you're onside.
You're good. Yeah.
Because we've got, and it's crazy. It's like, hooray, we've created this technology that lets us determine these insignificant differences. That's not the point of the rule. The point of the rule is so that you don't have 5 guys standing on the opposing team's goal line.
Yeah.
Not, oh my God, somebody's shoulder was ahead of another guy's shoulder.
Which again, the way the game is played now compared to how it used to be, I don't think that any team would actually try that tactic of 5 standing on the other guy's goal line. And I think you just get rid of the rule and game moves a lot faster. But let's try it. Can we just try it in an NCAA or some type of lower league?
We can try it. We can try it in our pickup league, Danny Brams, that we play in, and see how that goes.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Or
that's probably anyway.
Or a hockey rule. So
yes,
you'd have an offensive zone. Ball has to go in. Once it's in, you can all come in.
Yep.
Yeah, anything different, because right now the law of the game is not working as intended. So that's neither here nor there. We got to move on. We got to wrap this up.
But I will say it's lucky it didn't impact us today. There was the questionable call, but it paid off.
Turner tried to make it though, dude. Turner,
it did try.
Would you bench Turner for that play? I'd think about it. I mean, I wouldn't do it in real life, but come on, man.
No, he's number one.
I mean, you got to you actually have to in real life, the psychological play is you just brush it off and you'd be short memory, just go out. Yeah. But it really did piss me off because
he's a goalie. They don't have long memories anyway. He'll be fine.
Yeah. So. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. You're the man. We got to bring you on for Premier League banter at some point.
Definitely.
At this point. So
thanks for having me.
Think down.
Good,
Mike. With pleasure. Anytime. If anyone can deal with Danny Brams as long as you have, you're always welcome here. And like Danny said, we'll definitely get you on Premier League banter. That's set to continue. Just so everyone knows that will continue once Premier League is back. Until then, though, we have Danny Brams, 20 more days left of this fantastic tournament. And we will be with you every step of the way.
I think a lot fewer. Actually, I think we only have 13.
13? That makes sense.
13 match days. 13 match days. There's a few off days. Yeah.
13 match days. We'll be with you for every single one of them. As always, check us out and we'll have a recap for you. Go USA.
For the cup, baby.